This tutorial shows you how to set up your course to receive a homework assignment from your students. That homework assignment might be a Word document, could be a PowerPoint file, could be a photograph of some work that the student has done. I'm going to start with an example of what it's going to look like once we're done. Here we are asking the student to write a paragraph. I'm logged in here as a student. And if I click on it as the student, it shows me that I have a due date. This is the assignment, write the first paragraph of the Great American Novel, and I'll click Add a Submission. Here then, it gives us a text box where I can write, "It was a dark and stormy night," first sentence, and save changes. There it is, my first sentence. I can edit this submission. I could go away and come back the next day and continue to edit it all the way up until the due date. The other example is, instead of a text box that the student types in, is what if you want the student to produce a document and then upload that document? So here I'm asking, don't just write the first sentence, write an entire first chapter and upload it as a Word document or as an RTF file. I'll add a submission. And here it wants me to drag and drop the file to this spot. I'll go open up Computer, find where the file is stored, and then just drag it and paste it in. There, my file has been uploaded. Now I'll click Save Changes. This is in draft status. It's not yet done. Notice this one has an extra button though than the previous assignment. This one has a Submit Assignment button. I can continue to edit my submission as long as I don't click Submit up until the due date. But when I am fully done with it, I'll click Submit Assignment. It asks me to assert that this is in fact, confirm that this is in fact my own work, and I click Continue. And now that I have uploaded that assignment, and I can no longer edit my submission. Those are the two options. I do want to point out the document type. DocX or RTF would be standard document types that anyone ought to be able to read or write one of those two formats. You'll find that some Macintosh users may send you a document in the pages format, a .pages file rather than a doc or RTF. PC users will have trouble reading that file, so just ask your students to submit the kinds of documents that you can read. Now, how do we make this happen as the teacher? I will now jump over to the course where the teacher is logged in. And of course, we have to turn editing on, which I've already done. We'll come down here to this week. This is where I want to add homework assignment for the students. I'll click Add a Resource, and I'll choose Assignment and Add. I'm going to call this assignment Homework 1, write a paragraph about anything. Students, write me a paragraph about your favorite thing. I can give it the dates that this is allowable for. I won't prevent them from submitting early, but I do want a cutoff date. I don't want them submitting anything after February the 4th. That's the due date. I'll make it due at midnight. And I will not accept any late work. So I'm also going to set this to the same date, February 4th at midnight. This is the cutoff date, and no work will be accepted after the cutoff date. The cutoff date, of course, could be a day, a week, however much after the due date, and perhaps you allow late work, and maybe you reduce points for it. What kind of submissions am I accepting? Well, I can accept files, like in the second example I just gave you, and or online text boxes. If it's going to be something long, then I definitely want to make a file submission, because you don't want your students typing into these online text boxes for an hour. But what I've asked them to write is a single paragraph, so I think maybe I won't bother with file submissions for this one. I'll just have them write the paragraph straight into the text box. This is important. I want to be able to write comments as I grade this, and maybe in fact I want to also upload a file right back to the student. The file submission, the file feedback is particularly valuable if the students have submitted a file. I could edit that file and then send it right back to them. Submission settings, we saw examples in our earlier. Should there a submit button be required? Yes or no. We saw one example of each. The value, I typically don't have a submit button. I'll have all the work will be due, say, Sunday midnight, and I'm going to grade it on Monday. If someone submits it early, somebody submits it on Saturday, I'm not going to grade it until Monday, so I don't force anyone to have a submit button. The cutoff date essentially becomes when the thing is due. But feel free to have a submit button if you'd like. And I do like that submission statement. It shows that I'm serious about them doing their work themselves, I think. And you do want to assign it a grade. How many points is this assignment worth? This assignment is worth 20 points. And finally, at the end, activity completion. I always like that the checkbox happens. In this case, when the student submits this activity, the checkbox will be put in there automatically. And I'll now save and return to course. We now have a homework assignment that is quite similar to those two examples we saw to start off this video. And that's how you do it.